Hello. Just a quick hello. Wish you a happy new year. And I think today's the 2nd of January here in Australia. You can tell by my last video, plans just went out the window. Things might be a little bit different this year as well. I'll see how I go. I'm going to try and do little vlogs and put them together at least once a month anyway, just as a catch up. I do, like, people talk about making New Year's resolutions and how they always fail, which they do, and that if you're going to make changes, you should make them any time of the year. But there's something about the new year where we end up with, it's a time where we do sort of reflect on what we've done and what we want to do and make some goals. So my big goal for the year is just to knit through my stash. I'm going to be keeping a record of yarn in and yarn out. I'm not buying. I'm actually thinking about going to the Bendigo, the Australian Sheep and Wool Show this year. So there will be yarn coming in. I've also got a couple of trips to Sydney and hopefully a trip to Melbourne. Yeah, and we'll see what else the year brings. But I really do need to start knitting through some of my older stash. So I've joined a couple of knit-alongs and some whip groups and stash down groups on Ravelry, and just for some motivation and some accountability, and we'll just see where that takes us. Yeah, so hopefully I'll get back in a couple of days and I'll show you what I'm making. Yeah, like I said, 2nd of January, it's about 7:30 in the morning, and I thought I'd pop on at this time before the neighbours start getting out and about and getting too noisy. Although I think all the lawns have been mowed over the last couple of days, so that's something. I hope 2023 is a great year and is a better year for those that had a tough 22. Okay, I'll chat to you soon. Bye. Good morning. I think it's the 4th of January today. It's pretty early, maybe about 7. I just thought I'd get on here quickly because, yeah, I've got a few things to do today, and again, before it gets too noisy. A couple of things off the needles. I have done it's a Pearl Soho pattern. It's the half and half, what's it called? Half and half dishcloth or washcloth. I'm pretty sure it's like the same pattern as the half and half wrap, but just on a mini version. So I've just done that out of some paint box cotton DK. The original pattern says something like casting on 72 stitches, but I just found that was massive, so I undid that, cast on again. I think I've used 52. All my projects are on my Ravelry page. I'm on Ravelry as Yarn About Yarn, Instagram as Yarn About Yarn. If there's anything that you can't find on my Ravelry page that you want to know about, just let me know. I probably won't be adding links in the down bar, but maybe. Wearing my ranunculus. I'm actually thinking about getting another one of these on the needles. They're just so great. Like, I just pop them on, usually with a denim skirt. The next one I might make just a fraction longer. You can see the length here from my arm. This is quite a good length with the skirt, but I find if I pop my arms up, it's just sort of just needs that little bit extra length. So I might dig through the stash and see what I can find to make another one of those. So yeah, I'm doing a few little quick things as part of a group that I belong to on Ravelry, just to try and use up some stash as well. So I've got quite a few balls of the Paintbox DK, so there'll be more washcloths. That's on a 4mm, and being cotton, I think once it gets wet, it's going to open up more. I like the size, but I might even go down to a 3.5, 3.75mm. Yeah, we'll see how we go. So I've still got a little bit. This did not use up a ball of each colour, so I've still got a little bit to go. I found this little pattern, which is, I think it's just called Lavender Sachet, Lavender Bag by Debbie Bliss. It's a free pattern. This was also a free pattern. So this is basically like you knit it flat, seam one end, seam the long end, so you get a tube, seam that end, and then the other end's going to be seamed as well. So you can imagine it sort of looks like that, but the way that you seam it, you get this pyramid sort of shape. So I'm just going to get some dried lavender to pop in there, and then I can close that up and put in my stash. I don't know whether lavender really does keep moths away, but it's not going to hurt to try. So another little one off the needles. So I'm keeping a running score of what meterage going out and meterage coming in. I'll be doing some weaving. I won't necessarily be able to record the total meterage for the weaving, because I got a like a deceased estate lot of just odds and ends for weaving, and quite often when I'm doing a weaving project, I don't know whether I'll be able to show you on this one, I might just I might just put an odd piece in, like this bit here, for a bit of texture. I might just throw a piece like this in. What I will do with the weaving, and also this one was like a pre-wound warp from Sari, so I don't know what, I think I probably could work out the meterage, but for each individual piece, because I don't often weave the whole warp as one piece, I might do like, approximately 2 meters, and then another 3 meters, and then a meter here. And so what I might do with the weaving, if it's on my rigid heddle and I know what I've warped with, what weight of yarn I've warped with and used as the weft, I might be doing some meterage, but quite often with the weaving I won't, or it'll be an estimate. Like this one, the main colour in this was a Bendigo Woolen Mills. Well, I can account for that. So it'll be underestimating for what's going out, unfortunately, because there is a bit coming in. As yet, I haven't received any, but I do have some on order. So I'm keeping a running score on my whiteboard, meters that I get in and meters that go out. And so far, the out's winning, 135 meters. But every little bit counts, right? The other thing that I've got in this week, I've had this book on pre-order when it first came out in English, and I think it came out in Danish first, and it was taking forever, and it went past the publication date, and I still hadn't received a mail notification. So I went back through my emails to work out who I'd pre-ordered it from, found it, and apparently they're not shipping to Australia. They were fine to take my pre-order. So they do normally ship to Australia. So I don't know what happened. Like the pre-order price was a really good price. So whether they realised that, no, we don't want to sell at that price anymore, I don't know. So then I had to go and find somewhere else that would ship to Australia. So the book is, I think it's pronounced, the author is Lark Bader, I'm not sure. The book is close knit. And I don't know whether you know Lark from Instagram. Go and check out her Instagram page. So 15 patterns and 45 techniques from beginner to advanced from Europe's coolest knitter, apparently. So I did have to start to read this yesterday when it came. And what I didn't realise is that she is professionally trained. She went to design school, and I can't remember exactly what she did now. But what I like about this book is, I don't know whether you can read there. There are patterns and it goes through some of her techniques, but it's also like having, and it's quite a big, hefty book. It's like having her Instagram all at once in a book form. Oh, I won't show you that picture. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know whether I'll ever make anything. A lot of things she makes are multiple strands held together because she is in a Scandinavian or European country and it's a lot colder than it is here. But I just love the way her mind thinks and the designs that she comes out with. And there's another look at some of the bits and pieces. I have been collecting some beads. I don't know whether I'll do a beaded knit. I'll see if I can find. That's one of her beaded knits there. Like, it's a lot of work. And am I going to wear it? Probably not. Oh, I love this one. I love the idea of having, like, you have a striped jumper, which you would think would be enough, but then you go and embroider over the top of that again. So some more of her beading. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to, oh, the other thing she does is this loop stitch. Just went past it. This. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go at some of the things that, some of the techniques she uses, but maybe somehow translating them into something that I would wear and that is suitable for our climate. But it's just, I think it's just a great coffee table type book, and lots of pictures to give inspiration, but also lots of information to read as well. So yeah, check her out on Instagram and see if she appeals, and if she does, take a look at this book. I think I got it from Book Depository. I don't know if there's anywhere in Australia that's selling it yet, or I think there might have been, but it was super expensive. Yes, that's the other thing. But I want to get into, have a read of that. I think that's all for today. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I think so far I've been back every day just for a couple of minutes. I don't know whether I can keep that up, whether I'll have anything to tell you. I just thought I'd pop on today because I did have a couple of little FOs or near FOs to show you. And oh yeah, this reminded me, this half and half washcloth. Madeline from the Mad About You podcast and Mad About You on Instagram is running a Pearl Soho half and half wrap knit along this year. It started on New Year's Eve and it's going through for 12 months. There is a prize being given if you finish in the first 6 months. So it's a free pattern as well. I'm doing the, I think it's called the half and half striped triangle wrap, which is basically this, but instead of casting on, they're all free patterns, instead of casting on 42 stitches for this, I've cast on 260 something, and then working similar short rows and the triangles. But my triangles are striped. I think I'm following the pattern as given. I've got 6 colors. I think one side is 3 colors, like wider stripes, and then the other side is narrower stripes. So I've only just started, and I've only got like about that much done, so not a lot to show at the moment, but I'm hoping to sort of work on that a little bit each day if I can. At the moment the rows are quite long. When you start, you start with long rows and they get shorter for one half of the triangle, and then the second half of the triangle you've got short rows like here, and you finish here. So the start is a bit of a slog, the middle's not too bad, and then the end's a bit of a slog. But everyone that's made the half and half wrap, seem to have made multiples. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other day, they've got their 3rd one on the needle, they've got the yarn ready for the 4th, they're thinking about colour combinations for their 5th and 6th. So I don't know what it is, whether it's just a great meditative sort of knit, I don't know. So yeah, I'll show you that when I get some more on the needles. I'm hoping that by having the 6 colours and changing colours, that it will keep me motivated. I can't see myself doing one out of just 2 colours, but who knows. Anyway, so if that's something you're interested in, go and check out Madeline. So it's mad.about.you, as in EWE, on Instagram and on YouTube. So she's another Aussie podcaster. She's on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, and she's got a circular sock machine, and she makes some really nice things. She's got really lovely colour sense. Yeah, she's recently been travelling, so she's picked up a lot of yarns from overseas that hopefully we'll be seeing as she knits them up this year. And yeah, follow along with the cowl. The other thing, just while we're talking about that cowl, that's a year-long project, the other thing I'm doing this year is a book club with, it's called The Book Grocer, who I found on Instagram. They have a website. They're based in Australia, and they're having their first book club. So what you did was you signed up. I think they're still available. And what I didn't realise was that they're running 3 or 4 consecutive book clubs. So we don't all get the same book, but everyone, I'm in group 1, so everyone in group 1 has the same book. So they sent out a box with 12 books. They're all wrapped, so you keep them wrapped until the 1st of every month. And then there's a Facebook group. So if you like reading and you want to do a book club that's online, and I'm doing it because I kept seeing their ads popping up. I want to read more, and I like the idea of being in a book club. And I'm hoping to read things that I probably would not choose myself. So the first book, which is called Crossroads, and I can't think of the author, I have put it on my Instagram, so you can check it out there. The first, if I just picked that up myself and started reading, I don't know whether I would have kept going. And a lot of people have said the same thing. Like the first 50, 100 pages, it was, the story was interesting. I think it was the writing style that was a bit more it was a bit more difficult for me to understand, but I've got into it now, into all the characters, and it's not quite what I would call unput-downable, but I am picking it up and reading multiple times during the day, when I sit down to have a coffee, when I sit down to have lunch, for another 15-20 minutes in the afternoon when I'm having a bit of a break. So I am getting through that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the year holds with that book club. So that's The Book Grocer.
They're on Instagram, Facebook, and have a website. So I'll show you that book if I have it. I haven't got it up in my studio today. If I have it up here, I'll show you. Yeah, so, and I'll let you know what other books we're reading throughout the year. So that's it. I'll get going, get on with my day. Got to go out, do a few things, but hopefully I will definitely get some knitting time in. I usually knit every day. When I'm up here, I've got my loom is usually always warped. So I try and spend, even if it's just 5 minutes on the loom every day. I've got some cotton that I've ordered. I don't think it's shipped yet. Cotton coming that I want to warp up the rigid heddle, just down there. That's why I was looking at it. The rigid heddle loom. And I want to try weaving some tea towels, which is not something I've done before. I've usually only woven what I call freestyle sort of weaving, the sari style weaving, scarves, table runners, that sort of thing. This one here is, you can see this on my Instagram. It's wrapped around the mannequin, so I can't pull it all off. This is the one that I took off the loom, I think in my last podcast, if you stuck around to the end of that. This is the one that came off the loom then. I have to go soon, the sun's coming through. And I've just got it draped over the mannequin at the moment. I want to sew that up. My original thought was some kind of dress or tunic style top, but I don't know. I've got a jacket pattern coming that I ordered from Style Arc, which is a pattern company based in Australia. And I saw this jacket pattern come up, and it's quite minimal style, which is what suits this sort of woven fabric. So I'm thinking maybe this is the fabric that's got the frill running along the side of it. So I want to try and incorporate that somehow, whether it's on the lapel or I don't know. So hopefully that pattern will come in the next day or two, and I can lay the fabric out and see what I'm going to do with that. Next week I'm back to work. I'm not sure what sort of hours I'll be working, so depending how that goes, whether I'll be able to work full days or I'm working half days or alternate days, I don't know, but that will impact on how much time I've got to do weaving, knitting, sewing, whatever. But yeah, I'll definitely get some crafting done, and hopefully keep up the regular vlogging. Okay, take care, and I'll have a chat to you later. Bye. Good morning. It's Friday the 6th of January. It's quite cool, overcast and rainy here today. We had a big thunderstorm sort of early evening yesterday, and it's just cooled things right down. So yeah, hope you're all well. Everything's going okay here. I've pulled up my Ravelry page, that's what I'm looking at, to let you know what I'm wearing. It's the, I think it's pronounced Edie, E-D-I-E. It's an Isabel Kramer pattern. And you can see it's stockinette, but then it's got this texture running throughout it here. And I knit that, it's a Peyton's Australia, it was called Summer Swirl. And it was one of those cake yarns that was in a box, and it was the graduated colours. I think it was like 4 really fine strands together, and it was a cotton acrylic mix, and then, you know, they'd drop one strand, one colour, and put another colour in, so it gradually, or not so gradually, changed colours as it went through. But yeah, I really didn't like knitting with this. I found, because the strands weren't plied together, they were just sort of laying loose, I would get to the end of like one strand and I'd have like a heap of another strand. So I was forever sort of cutting and yeah, anyway. Love the top. Simple to wear. I can just chuck it in the washing machine. Don't have to worry about ironing it. Yarn was a pain to use. I have knit. I did have some other colours and I can't think what I did with them. I'm sure I knit something else with one of them. But yeah, maybe you'll see that in the rotation. So the Edie by Isabel Kramer, and I made that nearly 3 years ago now. Yeah, not much else going on, just doing some crafting today. I've got my half and half striped garter triangle wrap. That's for the knit along by Madeline of Mad About You podcast and Instagram. So I haven't got too far along. I've got a progress keeper here, and I put that in yesterday before I started knitting, and I worked on this for an hour, and that's as far as I got. So the rows are quite long at the moment, but we're doing short rows. So the rows will get shorter and faster. This marker here is, it's a crow. This marker here is just showing, this one's showing where I do my short row. This one is showing when I get back to here with short rows. I think that's where I'm up to, where I change colours. I'll check my count again, but it's about there. So I'm sort of, that's my goal, to get to that as soon as possible. I think once I start changing colours, I'll be a bit more motivated to work on it, but I'm going to try and do it in, keep moving that stitch marker up and just, you know, give myself an hour or something and see how much I can get done. So I'm going to work a little bit on that today, and I've got a couple of gift knits that I'll also be working on, which I won't show you until they're done. The book I was talking about in the book club yesterday is this one, Crossroads, by Jonathan Franzen, I think it is. I was wondering what it was about a book club that attracted me, and I think, like, you hear people talk about themes in books and whether they like books that are plot driven and character driven, and half of those terms I don't even really know what they mean, and I sort of think that's why I'm interested in this book club. And being an online book club, I can put as much into it as I want, or just sit back and just read everyone else's comments. I read a book and I sort of think, yeah, I like that, or I don't like that, but I don't know why, so I don't know what to look for in other books. I don't even know whether that makes sense, but anyway, so far I'm enjoying it. I'm probably about halfway through. It took a little while to get into. From what I can tell, each chapter is sort of written from the point of view of one character. So there are definitely characters that I don't like. There's characters that I find really frustrating. There's characters that in one chapter I think I like them, the next chapter I think, oh no, I don't like them. So it's interesting. At this stage I'm thinking Crossroads is a youth group in the book, but I'm sort of thinking it's the characters are at crossroads in their life. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out in the next half of the book. The other book I've been looking at is this weaving book by Myra Wood. It's just a little soft covered book, and it's for rigid heddle looms, which I've got. But in one of the groups I'm in on Facebook for Saori weaving, the comment was made that it could be used for that as well. So I'm thinking I might give that a go. I've only just started looking at it. It's got lots of projects. to try lots of different, I guess they're called stitch patterns, or weaving patterns. And I've had some of Myra Wood's books before, and they're in a similar style, and I find them quite easy to read and understand and to work through. So hopefully I'll be able to get on the loom sometime over the next few days and have got that. I've got the end of a pre-wound warp on the Sari loom, which is a black cotton warp. I don't know how many meters I've got left on that. I would like to get that off and get a different warp on to try these, but yeah, I don't know how I'll go. I've woven probably 1.5 meters of what I'm doing on that at the moment, and I would like to finish the warp so I've got a decent length of cloth that I could use to sew up something. And then I've got like a natural cotton color that I thought, like, these designs are stunning against a black warp, but I think they would also be okay against a natural cream colored warp, and then I could use some bright colored cottons to try some of these designs. Yeah, other than that, just the usual. So I'll work on, be doing some reading today, be doing some knitting, and just pottering around the house. Don't have to go out. And I was just looking, I think the little clip I did yesterday was about 20 minutes. This one is getting close to 10 minutes. Plus I think I did another 1 or 2 shorter ones earlier in the week. So I might get all this together and get it up today rather than waiting for another week or so. Otherwise it just gets too long and too boring. So I want to thank everyone that does listen to me ramble on, and thank you to the people that have subscribed. I did look at some of the analytics the other day, and it's interesting that it's like 70-something% of people who have been watching aren't subscribed. So I don't know. So if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Apparently that helps more people find videos on the internet. But thank you to those that do follow along, that leave a like, leave a comment. Like I said, if you ever want to know anything about what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, just contact me. You can leave a comment here on the video, or you can DM me through Instagram. I'm there as Yarn About Yarn, and I'm on Ravelry as Yarn About Yarn. Oh, there was something else that I was going to tell you, and I don't have it here with me. I've got a new design that's come out on it's ilikeknitting.com, which is a online digital magazine. I think you can access so many patterns for free. They do have some sort of subscription as well. So it's for their February issue. I might just see if I can bring it up on my computer and just show you what it looks like. What I've designed is it's a cotton, I think it's in like a worsted weight cotton, 10-ply cotton. It's a long sleeve, all over lace. This is loading really slowly. All over lace top. Very low-tech, unprofessional. I'll spin you around and see if you can see that. But that's the design there. I'll have the, it's just been sent back to me, and I'll grab it out to show you next time. But yeah, so it's ilikeknitting.com. So yeah, if you're interested, go and check that out. Like I said, I think you can access it for free and have a look at what else is on there in that issue. So I think it was for their spring issue. Yeah, but for our climate here, that would be more an autumn going into winter sort of top. Okay, so I think that's it for today, and take care everyone, and I'll chat to you next week. Bye.